This is Appalachian Ramblin. I'm Sam. This is Dillon. Pull up a chair, crack one open, and let's get into it.
Appalachia Ramblin' under the moon's bright light, where every trail leads us to the purest side.
So what are we drinking today?
It's my favorite part of the show.
Episode 1.
Yeah. I have Slack Pack IPA from Lazy Hiker Brewing Company. Out of, I've already forgotten.
Well, they have a brewery in Silva, and then I think they also have one in Franklin.
Yeah, this one says canned specifically in Franklin.
Okay, cool. So I also have a lazy hiker drink. Mine is the Wesser Evil Porter. And I like it. It's some kind of, have you ever been there? It's some kind of watchtower.
Never been to it.
But it's like a couple of hikers on this, what'd you call that? A watchtower, overlook tower?
Fire tower.
Is that what it is? That's cool. And then like the mountains behind it. Mine, I was reading it. It says it has notes of coffee, molasses, and soft touches of hops. So this is typically the kind of drink that I'll drink year round. It doesn't have to be fall. It can be in the dead of summer.
Yeah.
Mine tastes like chocolate, even though it doesn't say anything about chocolate in it. It's very smooth. How's yours?
I taste like pine trees.
Pine trees? Okay.
Yeah.
Here, try mine. No. I hate that. Oh, that's gross. What did you think of mine?
They're pretty good. Definitely tastes like chocolate.
Chocolate, right? But it didn't say anything about chocolate. Was that the
chocolate.
molasses?
Probably.
It's good.
I like the pine tree flavor myself.
You would like the pine tree flavor. So now that we have one cracked open, we hope that you also have one cracked open, unless you're driving. Don't do that. Today, we're talking about what people get wrong about Appalachia life. We're going to go over 6 misconceptions, and we're going to be sharing like our views on it and our takes on these 6 misconceptions. Take that as you will. This is our point of view. This is just the way we see things. There's probably more misconceptions out there, but these are the ones we specifically wanted to talk about. All right, so diving in, the first misconception is everyone here is poor and uneducated.
It's a matter of perspective as terms what being rich, being poor.
Oh, I like that.
Means. I've heard a lot of people from this area, a lot of older people that grew up here before all the tourism moved in and that sort of thing, that they didn't even realize they were poor until people told them they were. That type of mentality.
Yeah.
And there's a lot to be said about the richness of the land and living here versus having money.
But there's not a lot of resources. So there are challenges that it's hard to overcome in places like this because you can't help it.
One of my recent TikTok posts, there was a comment, and it was a post I made about sitting in the yard, dogs were running loose and just hanging out in the backyard. And somebody made the comment of, I think at the end of their post, they said, "You're the richest man I'll never know."
Oh, that's cute. I like that.
And that's where a lot of that perspective is I mean, money's money, but to me, the experiences and the lifestyle of being here is something that can't be, a lot of ways, it can't be purchased.
So basically, the answer to the question is it depends on your perspective of what poverty is.
Yeah.
But that's not dismissing that Appalachia, there is a lack of resources.
I mean, there's a lot of places, and you look at certain areas of West Virginia and Kentucky. Hello?
Last episode, Opie, our dog, interrupted us. Now our cats are meandering around.
Yeah.
But anyways, you were saying.
There's places where there's major coal mining country, and the coal mining moved out, and nothing moved in to replace it, and people in those areas face major issues. You read comments, stuff on that line, why don't they just move somewhere else where there's other jobs and all that, but how do you just convince somebody that's their family's lived on the same piece of land for
Oh, yeah.
multiple generations and this is the only life they know?
So does it come down to a pride thing, or is pride a bad thing in this situation? I don't know if it necessarily is.
In those cases, it's just a complicated situation all the way around. Even if you just move here from somewhere else, there's a lot of people that once you're here, you're here.
Yeah.
It becomes part of you and you become part of it. Something about it that...
There's something in these mountains.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of places like that around, I'm sure, but here specifically, I mean, you don't... There's something about it you can't get away from or wherever you go.
I agree.
Part that gets misconstrued is the self-reliance that's here.
What do you mean?
Just that, I mean, people that live here and that grew up here, there is a tendency to want to do things for yourself versus seek outside help.
Oh, I get that. Yeah.
It gets called pride, it gets called a lot of things, but there's something about it that's just innate about living here. I heard a phrase recently that, if you grow up in the mountains, you either learn to make it, learn to make do, or do without.
Ooh, I like that.
And it's that kind of mentality, and I don't know that it's necessarily, I don't think it's actual pride in a lot of cases, but it's part of that richness that we were talking about. Part of living here is, and one of the things you gain is this ability to be self-sufficient. And it's not necessarily a pride thing, but it's something you enjoy.
Yeah. Well, it goes back to Appalachian people they value their roots, but they're also very hardy people. Mm-hmm. I could see that. Okay, so moving on to our next misconception. So misconception 2, it's all the same. There's a massive cultural jump between different places in the Appalachian Mountains. Some areas that come to mind is like Cashiers, where you grew up, Asheville, or even like deep in a holler in West Virginia. Yet they're all Appalachia. So how do you explain those distinct differences to someone who isn't from here? From someone who's like, how do you explain that to someone who's in the West? Like, how do you explain that even though these different towns or areas or counties even, or even states, there's different flavors of Appalachia, but it's all still Appalachia?
Yeah, I mean, there's some kind of unifying thread through all of it that I don't know can be specifically defined. Somebody smarter than me might be able to, but yeah, there's some type of connectedness between all of it. Yeah, there's a difference geographically speaking if you go from here to upstate South Carolina, still considered Appalachia, but different culture. I mean, there's people on the ridge top or holler over that I've never even met.
Yeah.
Just because we live different lives.
I agree.
You mentioned like Cashiers and Highlands in that area, separated by elevation.
Yeah.
And there's a distinct difference between those areas.
And what's funny is even in those areas, you'll find distinct differences between people who've lived there all their lives there and people who have moved there.
Yeah.
They have a common thread, and that's they found something in these mountains have either A, kept them here, or B, drew them here. But there's something here that everyone has connected to, even though you might have generations of people who were born, raised, and lived there, and people who moved there to retire or uprooted their family because they're looking for a slower pace, whatever the case may be.
Yeah, and it's a tie that even connects us globally with other people.
Oh, I would consider Appalachia a melting pot now.
Yeah.
For sure. That reminds me of the story you told me about the temple that's here in Haywood County.
Yeah, the Hindu temple place.
But didn't you say there's like a whole community of people who practice Hinduism there? And that's literally, 30 minutes down the road from us? So I definitely think that there's a melting pot of cultures here. You see more Hispanics here.
Yeah, that's what I was about to mention. It's
Yeah.
pretty insane that I mean, Hispanic culture to me is familiar as anything else. Yeah, I grew up in it when it was moving in. There was a lot of contention with that. But now there's a deep Hispanic culture here feels deeply ingrained as
I agree.
anything else.
I agree. And I feel like we would be amiss if we didn't recognize the Cherokee culture that's still thriving just a county over.
All that to say that when you hear the term Appalachia, even though there's a connecting thread, there are vast differences when you look at the different areas of Appalachia.
Why are people drawn to Appalachia? Why are people moving here? Why are people vacationing here? Why are people wanting to come here? And it's because these mountains, there's something special about them.
They're kind of a catch-all for the outcasts and
Oh, I like that. The outcasts.
those that didn't have a place anywhere else. For whatever reason, Appalachia has been a place for all those people.
I love that. Okay. So, misconception 3. There are cryptids and Bigfoots behind every tree. Why do you think people are so obsessed with making this place to be like a nightmare? An actual horror movie?
I don't know if they want it to be a nightmare. I think there is this desire for wilderness and untouched places and unknown things.
And like figuring out what's there.
Yeah. I think with that and this area, Appalachia in general, has always been, in terms of development, behind the rest of the world. So there's this more in touch with nature kind of thing that's here that people find. And I think people are in general just intrigued by the unknown. And when the majority of the world isn't from here, that intrigue gets placed here. If people that aren't from here come here on vacation or whatever and they go out into the woods, you're going to hear stuff you've never heard before. You're going to see things you've never seen before, and your brain starts to fill in those gaps with stories you've heard.
I like that. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Like, if a person who's visiting here has never heard a fox cry,
yeah, that'd be terrifying.
That'd be terrifying. I wanted to read, I found this on Reddit. Someone asked a very simple question. What do locals think about Appalachian horror stories? Here are some of the responses I wanted to share with you. So one gentleman responded and said, I've spent a good number of nights and late evenings alone in the woods in Appalachia as I love hiking, camping, and nature photography. My love of sunsets means I'm getting back after dark on most nights that I'm out here, and I've never seen or experienced scary except for one time that comes to mind. I was camping in the National Forest in the Allegheny Mountains in the eastern panhandle of Western Virginia, and I had not seen anyone for 2 days. Around 10 p.m., I was cooking some hot dogs over a fire. I usually bring bear spray just in case, but this time it was in the trunk of my car. Dun, dun, dun. I heard some noise and looked over by my car, and I saw 2 pairs of eyes on medium-sized canines. So immediately, what would you think if you saw that? If you saw like 2 pairs of yellow eyes on canines, you would probably think
Coyote?
Exactly. And that's what he thought. He said, my immediate thoughts went to coyotes, and I just kind of reacted without really thinking by yelling at the animals, grabbed the nearby axe I kept for breaking up large logs, and began moving towards my car to get the bear spray. As I yelled and moved, first of all, why are you camping for several days without a firearm? Right?
I mean, I've been in the woods plenty without a gun.
Yeah, but why would you do that? If you're spending the night for like several nights in a row, you would have a firearm on you. I know you. You would have a firearm on
Not
you.
necessarily.
You wouldn't have bear spray.
No.
No. Anyways.
I put a blue dog's on his ass. So it needed bear spray.
As I yelled and moved towards the car, the animals charged towards me. I began raising up my axe, and when the one animal got to me about 5 feet away, I could see it was some sort of beagle mix. And I realized it was just somebody's dogs free roaming in the woods. They were both friendly, and I split a hot dog for each of them. And they hung out with me for a while until I went to sleep. Of course they did. You gave them hot dogs. They're not leaving you. They both actually spent the night by my car. And I felt good knowing that nothing would be able to sneak up on me during the night. They both left sometime in the early morning after 5 a.m. I feel very safe in the woods in Appalachia due to the lack of large predators and people. The two things that scare me the most are the abundant Lyme disease carrying ticks and timber rattlesnakes. Coyote and bear would be a distant third and fourth place. I feel like you would relate to that.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some shit that I can't explain, but I'm not necessarily terrified by it because I feel like there was something to it. I just didn't see enough of it to understand what it was.
Yeah. Okay, so this is another response. So again, the question was, how do locals feel about the Appalachian horror stories? And having experienced them. No, not really. Nothing spooky as in supernatural. A lot of people not from here talk as though one night in the woods you will see a shape-shifting monster and it'll come and eat you and curse your family forever. Reality is there's not a lot of it. A night in the woods is noisy. Out here there are owls, raccoons, deer, bats, bugs, even bobcats, bears, and loose house cats.
Or if you've ever jumped a flock of turkeys at night.
Oh, is that?
Yeah, flock of turkeys roosting in the trees. You're not expecting them to be there, and they take off. You have to go home and change your pants.
And no, there are monsters in the trees, Dillon.
Yeah.
Sadly, and so this person continues to go. Sadly, perhaps drugs and drug pushing will be the creepiest thing encountered. There's something to be said about criminal activity. And I liked this. Meth heads will have their little labs and trailers and lead tunes and don't like visitors. And this was in Greensboro. Greenbrier area. Anyways. And then the last one, this is a lot shorter, but this was their response to the question. I'm an avid hiker and photographer, so I spend a lot of times in the woods on my own, never experienced anything supernatural or unexplainable. I'm sad to say. You're looking for it at that point. I'm obsessed with abandoned buildings, and I'll admit I've scoured some of my photos hoping to see something spooky I didn't catch in person, but nope. That being said, if I remember that my laundry is online around 9 p.m., it's probably staying out there overnight. The woods are very active at night, and so is my imagination. I completely agree with that statement. I haven't experienced anything creepy or unexplainable, but you won't catch me outside whistling in the woods after dark. And you won't catch me outside without Dillon or the porch light on. I won't venture far because it scares me. Reddit is full of stories like that, and I would highly recommend you going and checking them out. Just typing in the search like Haunted Appalachian, you'll hear some crazy stories. But it was interesting to find one where the take was from the local perspective. And that's what we're talking about, is that misconception that you're going to find cryptids and Bigfoots behind every tree. And that's not necessarily the case. There's some spooky shit.
Yeah, I mean, but still, I mean,
you're not going to just get possessed walking out in the woods.
Yeah, but as somebody that regularly goes into the woods at night by myself, the deeper in the woods I get, the safer I feel.
Well, it's like they were saying basically is people are scarier than anything out there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm paying attention and seeing what's going on, but when I start heading back to the truck is when I get paying more attention to what's going on, whatever self-defense tool I have on me, I make sure that it is operational because I don't know who else is going to be in the parking lot or on the side of the road when I get back.
Take your bear spray. Yes. Okay. So misconception 4. People here don't want outsiders. There's tension between the stereotypical Southern hospitality that gets portrayed and is found here. I mean, we both have experienced it ourselves and have done it ourselves. Then you also have the locals push back on outsiders moving in. So how do you untangle the difference between a community simply wanting to preserve its home versus actually being unwelcoming to outsiders? Where's the balance between those two?
And I don't think it's that people here don't like outsiders. We don't like people coming here telling us what to do and how we're wrong.
But I feel like that's true in every area.
Yeah.
Where you go. So. But I think there is some change that's happening in Appalachia, and that's the melting pot we talked about earlier, that more people are moving in because there's something about these mountains that are drawing you in. And there is some tension between people who've been here for years and generational land. Mm-hmm. But I think what we're seeing is there's a balance. Not everybody that comes here is out to steal your great-grandpappy's land. They're coming here because they want a simpler lifestyle too. They feel a connection to the outdoors and they have found it here.
Yeah, they want to be a part of the community that's already here.
And I don't feel like it's not true for everyone. As in, I mean, I feel like you see that in almost every state. More people are moving to different states because they like the culture that they experience there and they want to be a part of it.
I think it all comes back to respect for land and culture.
If people would just be nice.
Yeah.
Just be nice. And everything will run smoother on all parts.
Yeah, I mean, when you mentioned earlier, I can remember growing up where I grew up where, construction and building was the main economy. And then the Hispanic community started moving in and the media portrayed it as these illegal outsiders are coming in to steal your jobs and you should be worried about it. And there was a lot of contention. But as people were forced to work with people they've never met before and couldn't even understand what the hell they were saying half the time, everybody realized these aren't just people here trying to scam money. Yeah. These are like artisans.
Yeah, exactly.
Some of the best carpenters, rock masons in the country could barely speak English.
And they came here because they felt drawn to these mountains, but also because they wanted a better life for their families, a lot of them. And going back to the Southern hospitality, why wouldn't you welcome them here? If they fell in love with something that you're so protective of, wouldn't you want them to join in the fight to protect it? Mm-hmm. But
yeah, I know people that would years ago fuss about Mexicans coming in and stealing their jobs would now fight you in the parking lot for making fun of their coworker for not speaking English.
Period. Yeah. No, I agree. Okay, so misconception 5. There's nothing to do here, which I've been guilty of saying as a 15-year-old living in Cashiers. I would say there's nothing to do here.
50-year-old?
15. Oh. Lord.
All right, there's nothing to do here. Stay away.
Okay, that's going back to the mindset we just talked about.
There is nothing to do here, and that's the draw, I think.
That's exactly, yeah. Connecting back to nature. And,
to specify what I mean by that is you're not going to have a Target 5-minute walk down the road. You're not going to have all these conveniences, but what you're going to have is getting more connected with things that are real.
Yeah.
And a lot of it's nature-based. It's ecotourism. And all that to say, if you don't like nature,
then this probably isn't the area
this isn't your vacation spot.
No.
But if you're looking to sort of unplug, get away, experience something different, then this is the spot.
There's locals here who do not appreciate where they live, where they won't go and experience the waterfalls and the parkway and stuff because they feel like it's a tourist trap.
A lot of it still is.
But they're missing out of those experiences that you won't find anywhere else.
Sure.
And because you're being, in my opinion, only my hot take on this misconception, you're being small-minded and allowing like the judgment of tourists coming in who are BTW bringing economic growth to the counties. Anyways, you're just losing out because you're losing out on experiences that you're dubbing as it's just for the tourists. And I think that because of that, you're missing out of learning and experiencing the places that you live.
Yeah. I think a lot of that goes the other way too. If you're coming here from somewhere else, spend some time in some of the local spots talking to people, because you're going to learn. Like if you're coming here to see waterfalls, if you spend enough time talking to locals, you're going to get the opportunity to get locations for waterfalls that
aren't on mainstream. Yeah, I agree.
Or just learn stuff you never learned. I don't know how many times I've been fishing or hunting and bumped into hikers, and I've bumped into those that have just turned up their nose and looked at me like a one-strap overall wearing whatever. And yeah, it's whatever. And then I've bumped into people that are like, what are you doing? And had really cool conversations with people.
Yeah.
One of my favorite ones recently is, well, it was a couple of years ago, but coon hunting in Pisgah National Forest. And on my way out, a car stops me. And
oh, that's sus.
It happens. And they were asking if there were any like camping areas further out the road. And this is a Forest Service road out in the middle of nowhere. And they saw the dog box and they said, "What's that for?"
Oh, no.
I coon hunt with hounds. And they're like where the red fern grows? I'm like, yeah. And
But hopefully it won't end that way.
And these were some college age guys. And they're like, I thought people did that shit in the 1800s. But yeah. Again, it just goes back to what I mentioned before. If you come here with a respect for the culture and the land, then you're going to enjoy your time here.
Yeah, no, I agree. Okay, so I think this is our last misconception, number 6. Appalachian people don't have a voice or tell their own stories, is the misconception. It feels like outsiders only talk about Appalachia when they want to make a joke or highlight a tragedy or cryptids. Why do you think it's so hard for mainstream media to just see the normal lives here that are lived day to day?
I think a big part of it is people don't want to listen.
That makes sense.
They want to hear their own voice. They want to hear their stories. They don't care to listen to anybody else.
Yeah.
Spend enough time here, you'll know that people have plenty of things to say. Yeah. They just have their own way of saying it.
And I think if you take the time to listen to the stories, like I think about my papa, and like taking the time to talk to him and listen to the stories he has to share, and he has some stories, and once you get him started, it's hard to get him stopped. But taking the time to listen to those stories, and then taking the time to doing what we're doing currently and telling those stories.
Yeah.
People need to slow down. They need to listen. They need to listen to what the older generations have to say, what people our age who are raising families in Appalachia, what they have to say. And if you go looking for it, I feel like you're going to find it. I've seen it on TikTok now, especially through our Stonewall 828 account, people who are connecting. And I've seen it more recently with the release of Appalachian Raised by, what is their name? Chainsmoke? What is their name? Cigarettes at Sunset.
Cigarettes at Sunset.
Yeah, Cigarettes at Sunset released Appalachian Raised, and that song went viral on TikTok. And because of that, you see more people sharing their day-to-day lives and their Appalachian experiences using that song and jumping on that trend. We did it too. And that's what we wanted to do with this podcast, is create a digital space where people could tell those stories as locals, not just as a person who's visiting and recounting the destinations they went to, but what the day-to-day lives actually look like for people who are here living it.
Yeah. I think a lot of that doesn't get shared because the older generations, they're used to the storytelling and that sort of thing. And like I mentioned in the last episode, that's something that's getting lost in our generation
agree.
and it's not just the storytelling ability, it's people's ability to listen.
It's the long form long form content.
Yeah.
People are wanting short, bite-sized, quick things.
Yeah. One of the wildest things I've seen in like the hunting and fishing community, a big part of that, especially in this area, is talking about hunting and fishing, talking about what you know, your dogs were running this weekend or where you're fishing or whatever. And it used to be you could sit down with somebody and have an hour conversation about it.
Yeah.
But now nobody has time for that. They want to know how big was the buck you killed, how big was the fish you caught, so that they can outdo you. Nobody has the time to sit there.
They want to know where you were so they can try to,
Nobody's there for the story's sake anymore, which is wild.
Which I think there's a group of people who are seeking that now, who are wanting to go back to that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like there's people in our generation too that see the value of that and are missing it and wanting to bring it back.
Yeah. And this is a form of doing that, this podcast. But I think as AI gets more developed and realities in a sense skewed because of AI, having authentic, not polished, that's one thing you will not find here is polished. We're doing the best we can. But we don't want it to be super overproduced or whatever. We want it to be authentically us, which for us is authentically Appalachian. But I feel like people are seeking that out more and more as AI becomes more and more prevalent in our reality.
Yeah. And I think you can just see that in the popularity of podcasts in general.
Yes, I agree.
Like, I mean, when we were in high school, somebody said podcast, you have no idea what the fuck anybody's even talking about.
No, and you wouldn't be interested in it. You know, like you wouldn't want to sit there and listen. You would want to listen to your favorite music. You're on your little iPod Nano. Remember those? Oh no, our age is showing.
But no, there's definitely this desire now for authentic experience and hearing from other people. And with that, I think the important thing is that we listen to other people to understand. You don't have to agree with everybody. You don't have to agree with everybody's point of view, but listen to understand where they're coming from and why they're saying the things that they're saying.
We listen and we don't judge. Yeah. All right. So we went through these 6 misconceptions, and I'm sure there's others we could have talked about. These are the 6 that we just wanted to discuss because we felt like we had opinions on the matter. But we really encourage you to tell us your opinion on each of these. You could disagree with us. We don't care. This is just our point of view from the lives we've lived in the area that we live in and the people we've talked to and had experiences with.
It's crazy what you'll learn from people you disagree with.
Yeah, no, for real. Like we're all for hearing your opinion on the matter, but also comment below if there's, or message us even if you don't want to comment, what you think there's misconceptions of as locals in Appalachia, or even if you have visited and you're like, I had this mindset of what Appalachia was going to be like, but then I got there and this is what I actually experienced. Drop those below, message us. Like you can message us through any of our socials. We're on all the major socials, Stonewall 828. Yeah.
Well, that's all for us today.
If you think this is your kind of podcast, if you like the rambling that we do, like, comment, follow, turn on the notification thing. That way you'll be notified when our next episode comes out. This one is going to be posted on June 30th. So it'll be 2 weeks after June 30th for our next one. We're trying to do bi-weekly.
Whatever you say, babe.
Huh?
I said, whatever you say, babe.
That's the goal, Dillon. Consistency is key. So until next time, don't whistle in the woods at night and go touch grass.
Appalachia Ramblin' under the moon's bright light, where every trail leads us to the purest side.